Hello, Repony. My name is Hawk Nightwing, the most unapologetic defender of G5 you'll ever meet.
And you know what time it is. It is time to review yet another leaked Tail episode. Just saying that is so satisfying. I'm not going to reiterate how much I'm not feeling any love for a certain company whose name starts with an H right now, because as far as I'm concerned, I gotta stay on their good side if I want this project on my neck without issues. Plus, you guys already know how I feel. My priority right now is reviewing this episode because, yes, we finally got the animated cut of Hey Foal Sister, which is the only cut I care about. Yeah, I know this review is coming out a bit late. I tried to review the original animatic, but I couldn't get past the fact that Zip was straight up voiced by a dude, who was distracting to say the least. Oh well, now that the real version of the episode is out, and supporting a premise that we're a bit familiar with, the question I have is this. Is this episode nothing but a lazy rehash of Portrait of a Princess? Or does it offer something fresh and unique that helps it stand out from its more grounded predecessor? Well, we're about to find out. This is my review of Taruto Season 2 Episode 25, Hey Foal Sister. The story for this episode is very straightforward and doesn't require much elaboration. Zip and Pip are fighting over everything, and so the Crystal Bright House decides it's time to teach them a lesson. After it sends them to many different locations and an infinite loop, the sisters finally realize the error of their ways and are able to return home. So, what did I think of the episode? Well, to start with, let's talk about the story. On the surface, the plot is very reminiscent of a certain other episode that's the darling of the LP community, that being the Make Your Mark episode, Portrait of a Princess. Zip and Pip have a sibling conflict and it takes a near-death experience to get them to reconcile. This may seem like the exact same story beat for beat, but there are actually quite a couple of differences here, for better or for worse. The main difference here is that, as always, Taruto goes for a more fantastical approach, while Make Your Mark took the grounded approach. And while I think the former succeeded with the blocky walkies blowing Izzy does it completely out of the water, I can't say I'm a fan of the exact same lesson being repeated here, mainly because you can't really beat the way Portrait executed its story. It was beautiful and masterfully told, with a poignant lesson on reconciling with strange family, told through the lens of two polar opposite sisters. But here the depth behind Zip and Pip's fight is noticeably lacking, even in the original animatic. They're just having a sibling fight, and it's not because they're growing apart or anything. It's just a petty sibling squabble. That's it. I do appreciate the visual creativity a lot with the different environments, but I struggle to see how dimension hopping helps with conveying the overall lesson. I think the conflict itself is portrayed very well. I mean, the sisters just ooze sibling energy that's just so realistic that you can't help but get on board with it, even twice. And there's a solid foundation here, but at the same time, it just feels like we're retreading old ground in a less impactful way. Looking at it strictly from a writer's lens, I think the episode could have gone with a different approach to the conflict. A more grounded one, as this show was capable of that. The lesson should have been about evolving Zip and Pip's relationship, building off of what makes them distinct from each other as sisters, and how they work so hard to build back their bond after years of growing apart, but the differences between them still get in the way sometimes. The history between these characters should have been acknowledged, and the lesson could have been that just because you have almost nothing in common with your sister, it doesn't mean you can't still love her all the same, and that the tightest of bonds only grow stronger through conflict and experience. But instead it feels like wheel spinning, as we've seen this lesson before, done far more impactfully. Unlike the blocky walkies, the lesson doesn't feel new because of a fresh spin on the conflict like that special did. It just feels like the same episode, but done with a different approach. The end goal is still the same, and that's the main problem with it. On the bright side though, the visual creativity is once again off the charts. What can I say except, the backgrounds and environments peaked with G5, and I don't think they'll ever be able to replicate it again. Between the snowy wasteland, the jungle, those Egyptian or Aztec temples, so on and so forth, the environments just pop out at you. See, this is why I love the art style for Taruto, as it's just beautiful. Come on. Everything just flies by in quick succession, as the sisters' arguments grow to even greater intensity, and the environments just get even more absurd. They're even in space for a couple seconds, like, wow. The episode was bonkers in the visual department. I'm so glad I waited to review the animated version, just for that reason alone. The animation just enhances everything. I also felt that the resolution where Zip and Pip reconcile was quite heartwarming. Zip being very awkward with her apology as she's not used to it, and Pip just hugging her outright. That was so sweet, the facial expressions really sell the moment. There is a lot of heart here, and do I even need to talk about the joint cutie mark speech, where the sisters finally overcome their differences, clear the storm, and race back home together with the song playing in the background? That was epic. Oh, and I can't not talk about the appearance of a new species? You guys know what else Taruto did absolutely right? The creature designs. I'm not sure what this bird is supposed to be called, but add that to the list of really out there creatures for this generation. Just, why did you not release this episode, Hasbro? All in all, I would say this is an episode that I am very conflicted on. Dare I say it's a pretty okay episode. On one hand, I really like it. The conflict between the sisters was engaging, the visual creativity with the environments was absolutely off the charts. That climax was both heartwarming and epic at the same time. Thank Hoof and Sip had her actual voice back, and I'm so happy we got another character-focused episode. One that I have to reiterate again, deserved to be released officially. But on the other hoof, the lesson was done before in a peak quality episode in a different show. It feels like a rehash of what came before, with similar plot beats to boot. So to answer the question, is the episode a rehash? Yes. Yes it is. But it also does a lot of things differently at the same time, so it's kinda both. Plus, the things it gets right, it really gets right. The episode was bonkers, emotional, epic, and hilarious too, and it does have a fleshed out lesson. I guess if you want to see what a fantastical retelling of Portrait of a Princess would look like in the style and runtime of Terror Tale, then check this one out by all means. But don't come expecting anything fresh. But, what do you guys think of this episode? Feel free to let me know in the comments below. Until next time, this is Hawk Nightwing signing out. Hoof to heart.